Divine appointment. You are meant to hear this message, despite the enemy's efforts to distract or discourage you. There are no accidents in the realm of spirit. The wind does not pass by without reason, and your ears do not hear what your soul was not ready to receive. This moment right now was written long before you breathed your first breath. You didn't stumble upon these words by chance. No, you were guided here, drawn like a river knows the pull of the sea. The Creator, who sees beyond time, knew the battle you've been fighting in silence, the weight you've carried beneath your smile, and the silent prayers whispered in the darkest part of the night. This message is a divine appointment. It is not random. It is not empty. It is exactly what your spirit has been longing to hear. The enemy has tried to cloud your path with noise and fear, distractions and doubt. He's thrown stones at your faith, whispered lies into your exhaustion, and tried to convince you that you were forgotten. But you are not forgotten. You are seen, you are known, and you are deeply loved by the one who called the stars by name. The storms you've walked through were not signs of abandonment, but places where strength was born in silence. The wilderness you wandered was never void of purpose. It was the ground where roots grew deeper. God sees everything. He witnessed betrayal, heard mockery, and saw every struggle you faced. Nothing escapes his sight. Not one tear you cried in secret. Not one night you laid awake wondering why the pain wouldn't lift. He saw the betrayal when those closest to you turned their backs, when words that should have healed instead cut deep. He heard the mockery when people misunderstood your heart, when they laughed at your hope, when they said you'd never make it through. And still, he never turned his face away from you. Divine appointment. You are meant to hear this message, despite the enemy's efforts to distract or discourage you. There are no accidents in the realm of spirit. The wind does not pass by without reason, and your ears do not hear what your soul was not ready to receive. This moment right now was written long before you breathed your first breath. You didn't stumble upon these words by chance. No, you were guided here, drawn like a river knows the pull of the sea. The Creator, who sees beyond time, knew the battle you've been fighting in silence, the weight you've carried beneath your smile, and the silent prayers whispered in the darkest part of the night. This message is a divine appointment. It is not random. It is not empty. It is exactly what your spirit has been longing to hear. The enemy has tried to cloud your path with noise and fear, distractions and doubt. He's thrown stones at your faith, whispered lies into your exhaustion, and tried to convince you that you were forgotten. But you are not forgotten. You are seen, you are known, and you are deeply loved by the one who called the stars by name. The storms you've walked through were not signs of abandonment, but places where strength was born in silence. The wilderness you wandered was never void of purpose. It was the ground where roots grew deeper. God sees everything. He witnessed betrayal, heard mockery, and saw every struggle you faced. Nothing escapes his sight. Not one tear you cried in secret. Not one night you laid awake wondering why the pain wouldn't lift. He saw the betrayal when those closest to you turned their backs, when words that should have healed instead cut deep. He heard the mockery when people misunderstood your heart, when they laughed at your hope, when they said you'd never make it through. And still, he never turned his face away from you. He remained steady, present, waiting for the moment when your heart would be still enough to hear him whisper, "I'm still with you." The fire didn't destroy you, it refined you. The losses didn't define you, they prepared you. Every closed door, every broken promise, every lonely season, it was all seen. And it wasn't wasted. The enemy may have meant it for harm, but God is turning it for good. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are still on time for the promise that was spoken over your life. Heaven has not forgotten your name. The trials have not canceled your destiny. If anything, they've confirmed it. You were chosen for such a time as this, not by man, not by luck, but by divine design. And the same one who saw you in your sorrow is the one who will lift you into joy. He has not brought you this far to leave you here. He has not poured into your life only to let it end in disappointment. The story is not over. The turning point is near. And your faith, though tested, is more precious than gold. So don't give up. Don't listen to the voice that tells you you've missed it. You haven't. Don't believe the lie that says you're too weak. You're not. You are being prepared, not punished. You are being elevated, not erased. Everything you've endured has been seen, and because He sees, He will respond. Not a single moment of your pain will be wasted. He collects every tear. He honors every effort. He will finish what He started. Your story isn't over. God is not finished with you. Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. The page you're on right now was not the last chapter. It may feel like the end. It may look like you've been written off, passed over, forgotten. But the author of your life does not write tragedies without resurrection. He does not end stories in ashes without first planning the rising. You're still here, not because you had the strength to stay, but because grace held you when everything else fell apart. That breath in your lungs is proof that your purpose still stands. You've walked through fires that should have consumed you, storms that should have broken you, but look at you. You're still standing. Maybe weary, maybe bruised, but still standing. And that means God is not done. Every setback you face wasn't wasted, it was soil. Soil for the seeds He planted long ago. Seeds of perseverance, courage, wisdom, and faith. The enemy thought he buried you, but he didn't know you were a seed. The darkness wasn't a tomb, it was a womb, a place where something greater was forming, even when you couldn't see it. Those closed doors, they were redirections. Those delays, divine timing. Those disappointments, sacred training grounds. What looked like failure was actually foundation. What felt like loss was preparation. He's building something in you that can't be shaken. Not by the opinions of others, not by the wounds of the past, not even by your own doubts. You've questioned whether you're strong enough, worthy enough, ready enough, but hear this. The plan of God doesn't depend on perfection. It's fulfilled by obedience, by surrender, by faith. And even when your faith felt small, it was still enough to move the heart of heaven. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't gone too far. The comeback is not just coming, it's already in motion. Victory is promised. No betrayal can cancel God's divine plan for your life. You've seen betrayal. You felt the sting of trust turn to ash. People you loved turned away, left without explanation, or stayed only long enough to wound. And it hurt deeply. But betrayal never has the final word. Not in your story. What was meant to break you, God is using to bless you. The lies spoken against you, the misunderstandings, the rejection, it's all been accounted for in the divine blueprint. The plan still stands. The promise still holds. The anointing on your life cannot be revoked by human hands. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers but still ended up in the palace. David was hunted by Saul but still sat on the throne. Jesus was betrayed with a kiss but still rose with all power. So who told you that betrayal was the end? Who told you that pain would write your final sentence? It won't. Because God's promises are not fragile. They don't fall apart when people fail. They don't dissolve when hearts break. What He has declared over your life is stronger than anything spoken against you. You are chosen not because you've never been broken, but because in your brokenness you kept walking, you kept believing. You kept showing up when it would have been easier to quit. And heaven noticed. Your scars are not signs of shame, they're marks of survival. And victory is not just some distant hope. It is your inheritance. God does not lose battles. And because you belong to Him, neither will you. So keep going, even if it's slow, even if it's quiet, even if you have to rebuild from the ground up. The promise is alive. The comeback is real. You matter deeply. You are not a mistake or forgotten. You may not have always felt it, but your life is marked with meaning. The world may overlook you, may pass you by without a second glance, but heaven never does. You are seen, you are known. Not just for your struggles or your titles or the way you've had to carry more than your share, but for your heart, your faith, your quiet strength. You matter. Not because of what you've accomplished or failed to do, but because of who crafted you. The hands that shaped the stars also formed you, and they did not make a mistake. Every breath you take has value. Every moment you've survived, even the ones you thought you wouldn't, has meaning. You were made with intentionality, knitted together by divine design. The Creator does not build in vain. He does not write throwaway stories. In your life, yes, yours is a testament to that truth. You have purpose, even when you feel directionless. You have impact, even when no one claps for you. You have worth, even when the world weighs you down with silence. There are parts of you the world may never fully understand, but God does. He understands the depth of your silence. He reads the language of your tears. He knows the weight you carry and the battles you fight just to keep showing up. That effort, it matters. Your endurance, it matters. The way you love, even after being let down, that matters. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone or too late to the call. You are exactly where you need to be for grace to reach you. There's nothing accidental about your presence on this earth. If you're still here, it's because your story still has pages waiting to be written. And not just filler pages, but ones filled with healing, growth, redemption, and light. Heaven has not stopped dreaming over your life, and neither should you. God's presence is constant. Every tear is seen, every step is guided. Even in the silence, He is near. Even in the storm, He is steady. There has never been a moment in your life that escaped His notice, not the nights you cried alone, not the days you questioned your worth, not the moments where you smiled on the outside but shattered quietly inside. God was there for it all, not as a distant observer, but as a faithful companion. The God who parts seas and moves mountains also sits with you in stillness. You are never alone, never abandoned, never overlooked by the one who holds your soul. His presence is not just for the mountaintops, it's for the valleys too. It walks with you through heartbreak. It shelters you in confusion. It lifts your head when shame tries to bow it. God's love does not flicker when your faith feels weak. It doesn't retreat when life gets messy. It stays. And not just stays, it surrounds, it covers, it carries. You may not always feel it, but He has always been guiding your steps, opening doors you didn't even know you needed, closing others to protect you from what you couldn't yet see. That gut feeling, that unexplainable peace in the middle of chaos, that sudden strength when you thought you had none left, that was Him. That's Him now. The same God who held you then is holding you still. And every tear you've cried has not fallen unnoticed. They've been collected, recorded, remembered. They are sacred. They speak when you can't. They tell a story of faith, of resilience, of hope beyond explanation. So when you doubt if anyone really sees you, remember, God has never taken His eyes off you. When you wonder if your path has purpose, remember, He is lighting every step, even if only one at a time. When you feel like giving up, remember, the one who walks with you is not only able to catch you when you fall, but strong enough to lift you higher than you've ever stood before. You are held, you are guided, you are loved eternally, unconditionally, and completely. There are moments when the night feels too long, when shadows stretch endlessly, and hope seems buried beneath the silence. You wonder if anyone notices, if the ache inside your chest is visible, if the heaviness you carry is shared by anyone at all. But hear this, you are not walking through the darkness alone. There is one who walks beside you, even when you can't feel His footsteps. He's not a stranger to sorrow. He's not afraid of your doubts or your anger or the weight of your questions. He steps into your pain, not away from it. There are moments when the night feels too long, when shadows stretch endlessly and hope seems buried beneath the silence. You wonder if anyone notices, if the ache inside your chest is visible, if the heaviness you carry is shared by anyone at all. But hear this, you are not walking through the darkness alone. There is one who walks beside you, even when you can't feel His footsteps. He's not a stranger to sorrow. He's not afraid of your doubts or your anger or the weight of your questions. He steps into your pain, not away from it. Healing is coming. What broke you will not define you. The things that tried to break you, they don't get the final word. The betrayal, the loss, the silence, the fear, they are not your identity. They are chapters, not your whole story. They may have shaped you, but they do not name you. You are not the wound. You are the warrior. You are not the failure. You are the fighter. You are not the abandonment. You are the one still standing. And if you're standing even with trembling knees and weary bones, that's a victory in itself. Healing doesn't always come like lightning. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it takes time. But it comes. In the moments when you choose to breathe again. In the days when you show up, even when everything inside says to quit. In the quiet, yes, to keep hoping, to keep praying, to keep believing that there's more ahead than there is behind. God is not just the God of sudden miracles. He's the God of slow restoration. the kind that works deep beneath the surface, the kind that rewrites every lie spoken over you, the kind that untangles you from fear and shame. He's the God who trades ashes for beauty not by erasing the past, but by redeeming it, by turning the very things meant to destroy you into stepping stones for purpose and grace. Let this settle in your soul. Healing is your portion. Restoration is your birthright, not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. The healer walks with you. The Redeemer calls you by name. The Comforter rests His hand upon your shoulder even now. There is more to your story. There is light on the horizon. The pain you've walked through will not be wasted. It will become the very place from which hope rises again. So take heart. You're not forgotten in your suffering. You're not wandering without a guide. The journey may be long, but the one who walks it with you is faithful. He's not waiting at the finish line. He's with you every step, whispering, I am here. You've weathered winds that would have broken others. You've stood while everything around you cracked and crumbled. And maybe now, even as the noise fades, there's still a storm churning inside. The kind that keeps you up at night. The kind that fills the silence with doubt. But peace isn't the absence of trouble. It's the presence of someone greater than the storm. Peace doesn't always come all at once. Sometimes it comes in quiet waves, rolling in when you least expect it. In the pause between anxious thoughts, in the warmth of a sunrise after a cold night, in the soft reminder that you're still here, and God is, too. The same God who calmed the sea with a word still speaks into the chaos of your soul. He whispers peace where there has been panic. He breathes rest where there's been unrest. You don't have to earn this peace. You don't have to prove anything to receive it. It's not about striving, it's about surrendering. Surrendering the illusion of control, the weight of expectations, the fear that you're too far gone. Peace doesn't mean you won't feel the wind. It means the wind won't shake you like it used to. Because your roots go deeper now, deeper into faith, deeper into the truth of who God is and who you are in Him. So breathe. Lay down what you're carrying. There's peace for the brokenhearted. There's peace for the weary. And it's yours right here, right now. You are chosen. Before anyone else had an opinion, God had a purpose. There's a calling on your life that wasn't put there by men, so it can't be removed by them either. You were chosen before you were even born, not by accident, not by default, but with divine intention. There's nothing ordinary about you. You were set apart, handpicked by the Creator of the stars, the author of time, the one who knows every grain of sand and still calls you beloved. You felt overlooked. You've been dismissed, forgotten, misunderstood, but people's rejection has no bearing on God's election. He didn't wait to see what you do before calling you His own. He didn't wait for your life to look perfect. He saw the end from the beginning and still said yes. He saw every wrong turn you take, every scar you carry, and He still marked you with purpose. This isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. You are more than your mistakes. You are more than your successes. You are more than any title or label this world could ever offer. You are chosen. You are loved without conditions, and you are called for such a time as this. The gifts in you, they weren't placed there to sit in silence. The fire in you, it wasn't meant to be extinguished by fear or delay. There's a reason you're still here. There's a reason your story hasn't ended. Because God's not done yet. He's still writing, still building, still breathing life into your dreams. And He will finish what He started in you, not because of your strength, but because of His. So rise, not with striving, but with sacred confidence. You don't have to chase your worth. You don't have to beg to be seen. You already are. You've always been. And no one, not even your own doubt, can unchoose what God has chosen. You've carried wounds no one else noticed, smiled while bleeding inside, stayed strong when you wanted to fall apart. And maybe you thought healing had passed you by, like you missed your moment, like too much time had gone by, like the damage was too deep. But healing doesn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it starts with a whisper, a breath, a shift so subtle you barely notice it at first. Healing isn't always loud. It's often quiet, like the dawn that breaks the longest night. Quiet like a scar that no longer stings. Quiet like the moment you choose to hope again. You may not be where you want to be, but you are not where you were. In every step, even the trembling ones, are part of the healing. God hasn't forgotten the pain others ignored. He was there in the silence, there in the ache, there when you thought no one saw you break. And he's not just watching from a distance, he's walking with you, even through the valley. He's not just the God of restoration. He is restoration. That means every part of you, heart, mind, body, soul, can come alive again. Nothing is too broken for his touch. No story too messy for his redemption. So don't rush the process. Don't despise the slowness. Healing takes time, and time is holy when it's held in God's hands. He knows how to take shattered things and make them sacred again. He's doing it in you, even now, even here. Let the process be slow if it needs to be. Let grace fill the gaps where you feel weak. You are not behind, you are becoming. And what you're becoming is beautiful. Your prayers are powerful. Heaven hears what your heart can barely speak. Sometimes the words don't come easy. Sometimes all you have is a sigh, a tear, a groan too deep for language, and that's enough. Because prayer isn't about perfect words, it's about connection. It's about lifting your soul, however heavy, to the one who listens without judgment, without hurry, without fail. You've prayed when you didn't see results. You've prayed when it felt like the heavens were silent, but not a single word has been wasted. Not one cry has fallen to the ground unnoticed. Heaven bends low when you whisper, because your voice carries weight in the spirit. You are not ignored. You are not praying into a void. You are speaking into eternity. God keeps every prayer, even the broken ones, even the ones full of questions and half faith. He's not waiting for you to pray the right way. He's listening to your heart. And when your heart is weary, when it's too tired to form the sentence, the Spirit intercedes for you. You are not praying alone. You are not standing alone. Prayer moves things. It moves mountains, yes, but sometimes it moves the mountain in you. The one called fear, the one called doubt, the one called shame. Your prayers are making a way even when you don't see it. They are watering seeds that haven't bloomed yet. They are building something sacred in the unseen places. So keep praying, keep whispering, weeping, reaching. Heaven hears, heaven responds. Not always in your timing, but always in your favor. Because you are a child of God and your voice is known there. There are moments when the world around you shakes, when nothing feels steady, when everything you once trusted seems to crumble. The storm hits, and it hits hard. The winds howl with voices of fear, regret, and shame. The waves rise grief, disappointment, rejection, and it feels like you're sinking beneath it all. You reach, but the shore feels too far. You cry out, and you wonder if your voice is drowned by the noise. But then stillness. Not always sudden, not always visible, but real, quiet, steady. It comes not because the storm ends, but because God speaks into it. He doesn't always calm the sea, but he calms you. And somehow, that's enough. Somehow, even with waves still crashing, you find your breath again. Even with thunder overhead, you find a quiet place inside where peace lives, not because of the absence of trouble, but because of the presence of God. He is the peace that doesn't make sense, the peace that stands when nothing else does, the peace that says, you're not alone here. And maybe peace doesn't mean everything will go back to how it was. Maybe it means you will never go back to how you were because you're learning how to anchor deeper, trust stronger, and rest more fully in the one who holds all things together. So breathe, just breathe. You don't have to fix it all. You don't have to know the outcome. You only need to know that God is in the boat with you and his voice is stronger than the storm. Listen for it. It's calling your name, not in anger, but in comfort. Peace, be still. That word wasn't just for the sea, it was for you. You are becoming. This season is not the end of you. It's shaping what's next. You've walked through fire, but it didn't burn you, it refined you. You've been in wilderness places, but they didn't break you, they taught you. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And what is planted in secret will bloom in the open, in due season. Don't rush the bloom. Roots grow first, and they grow in the dark, in quiet, in places unseen by others. And that's holy work. The foundation being built now will carry what's coming next. There is strength forming in the silence. There is resilience rising in the stillness. There is purpose even in the pause. What you've lost doesn't disqualify you. What you faced doesn't define you. This is not the full story. You are still being written, still being molded, still being called. The delays were not denials. The detours were not dead ends. Every turn has taught you something eternal. God doesn't waste anything. Not your pain, not your joy, not your questions. He uses it all. You are becoming someone stronger, someone softer, someone wiser. You are becoming more like Him. The struggle isn't proof that you're failing, just proof that you're growing. And the places where you've bled the most are often the places where His glory shines brightest. You may not see it yet, you may not feel it yet, but transformation is happening. Like the caterpillar in the cocoon, change can look like loss before it looks like freedom. But oh, when the wings come, when the sky opens, when you finally soar, you'll see why the waiting mattered, why the crushing wasn't the end. There are moments when you stand in the deepest of shadows, when the darkness feels suffocating, overwhelming, and endless. It's easy to feel like you're lost in that place, unable to find the way out. You look around and see no sign of light, no clue of where to step next. The weight of the unknown presses against your chest, and doubt whispers in your ear. You will never find your way. You are lost. But even in the darkest night, the stars are still there. Even when the sun is invisible, it hasn't stopped shining. It's just hidden behind the clouds. And in those moments, when the path before you seems uncertain and the future unclear, you need to remember this. God's light doesn't go out. Even when it feels like you are stumbling in the dark, He is guiding you step by step in ways you may not fully see or understand. In the darkness, you may not always see where you're going, but you can trust that He is leading you. Sometimes, it's not about seeing the whole road ahead, it's about taking the next step in faith. Each step, though small, is one closer to the breakthrough that God has prepared for you. He doesn't ask you to understand everything. He simply asks you to trust Him in the process. And when you do, you will find that His light shines brighter in the darkest places. Just as the sun never truly leaves the sky, God's presence never leaves you. Even when you cannot feel it, even when it seems like you are walking alone, He is with you. The psalmist reminds us that even in the deepest valley, we need not fear because God is our shepherd, leading us beside still waters, restoring our soul. In the places of grief, confusion, and pain, His presence brings comfort. It's in these moments of darkness that your faith grows the strongest. The light shines brightest when the night is at its darkest. You don't have to see the whole road ahead to trust that He is taking you somewhere good. You only need to trust that His plan is perfect, that He knows the way, and that you are never, ever alone. You are not forgotten. The God who remembers you will never leave you behind. There may be times when you feel like the world has forgotten you. People may have overlooked you, ignored your needs, or failed to understand the weight of what you carry. You might have been passed over for something you prayed for, or your efforts might seem unnoticed, unappreciated. But in these moments of feeling forgotten, you need to remember one thing. You are never forgotten by God. He knows you intimately, and He sees you clearly. You are not lost in the shuffle of the world's distractions. God is mindful of you in ways that are too deep for human understanding. The hairs on your head are counted. The tears you've cried are collected. Every detail of your life matters to Him, and He holds you close. He does not forget His promises, and He will never leave you behind. Even when it seems like your prayers are unanswered, or the world is moving on without you, know this. God is still at work. He is preparing something greater, something beyond what you can see or imagine. And in the waiting, in the times when it feels like nothing is happening, He is doing a deep work within you. He is strengthening your character, deepening your trust, and teaching you to rely fully on Him. God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels like it's too late. He sees the big picture when we can only see the small fragments. Trust that He has not forgotten you. Trust that He has not abandoned you. The God who made the stars, who calls them by name, remembers you. He is working on your behalf in ways you cannot always see or understand. And in His time, you will see that all of it was for your good. You are never alone. God's presence is the greatest gift in all of life. In a world that often feels disconnected, isolating, and overwhelming, there is one truth that stands unshaken. You are never alone. It doesn't matter if you are physically surrounded by people or standing in a crowd, you are never truly alone. The presence of God is always with you. And that presence is the greatest comfort, the greatest strength, and the greatest hope. God is Emmanuel, God with us. He is with you in your highs and lows, in your triumphs and struggles, in your victories and defeats. His presence doesn't depend on your circumstances. It doesn't fade when you feel weak or wander in doubt. He is always there, always close, always ready to carry you through. When you are walking through pain or confusion, He is there to walk with you. When you are celebrating joy, He is there to celebrate with you. In every moment, He is there, and His presence is a reminder that you are loved, valued, and never forgotten. Sometimes, life feels like it's broken into pieces, scattered beyond recognition. The pain you've experienced, the losses you've endured, the mistakes you've made, they all leave you with the sense that something precious has been lost, never to be restored. You may feel like a vessel cracked beyond repair, a heart that cannot be healed. But God has a way of making broken things beautiful. He is the God who restores what is lost, heals what is broken, and makes new what seems beyond hope. His promise is clear. He will restore you. No matter how deep the wound, how wide the separation, how broken the dream, God is the great restorer. He takes what seems shattered and brings it back together stronger, more resilient, and more beautiful than before. This restoration isn't just about healing the surface, it's about transformation. God doesn't just fix things, He makes them new. In your weakest moments, He is the one who breathes life into you, who takes the broken pieces and forms something better. Your past, though painful, does not define your future. The God who created you is at work to bring you into a season of renewal, where your purpose will shine brighter, your heart will be stronger, and your life will bear witness to His redemptive power. Restoration takes time, though. It's a process, not an instant fix. But in that process, you are growing, learning, and becoming more like the person God created you to be. The pain you face will not be wasted. It will become part of your testimony, part of the beautiful story God is writing in your life. Perseverance is not just about surviving, it's about enduring with faith, hope, and trust in the one who holds your future. Life struggles, as hard as they are never meaningless. Every battle you face, every obstacle you overcome, every challenge you endure with God by your side is shaping you into something greater than you ever imagined. The Apostle Paul writes, "We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame." Romans 5:3-5. Each trial you face is like a refining fire, shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for the glory that lies ahead. There are moments when it feels like you've reached your limit. You've prayed, you've cried, you've hoped, and yet the weight of your circumstances is heavy. But in those moments, know that you are being refined. Your perseverance, your trust in God, even when things seem impossible, will lead to a reward far greater than anything you could imagine. God sees every tear, every effort, every moment of struggle, and He promises that those who persevere will not be left empty-handed. The reward for your perseverance is not just something in the future, it's a deeper relationship with God, a more refined spirit, and a greater sense of purpose. God does not waste your suffering. He uses it to bring about His glory in your life. The victory you will experience will be sweeter because you endured. The light at the end of the tunnel will shine brighter because you trusted God to guide you through the darkness. And when you stand on the other side, you will look back and see how far you've come, how much you've grown, and how much God has been with you every step of the way.